Hi, kids, friends. Today I have a fun book to look at together. It's called What Was I Scared Of by Dr. Seuss. Have you ever been scared? I bet. Yep, sometimes it's hard, but we don't always need to stay scared. Let's look at the book together. What was I scared of? Well, I was walking in the night, and I saw nothing scary, for I have never been afraid of anything. Not very. Then I was deep within the woods, when suddenly I spied them, a pair of pale green pants, with nobody inside them. I was scared, but yet I stopped. What could those pants be there for? What could a pair of pants at night be standing in the air for? Yes, very puzzling. And then they moved. Those empty pants. They kind of started jumping. And then my heart, I must admit, it kind of started thumping. So I got out. I got out fast as I could go, sir. I wasn't scared, but pants like that I did not care for. No, sir. After that, a week went by. Then one dark night in Greenwich, I had to do an errand there and fetch some Greenwich spinach. Well, I had fetched the spinach. I was starting back through town when those pants raced around a corner and they almost knocked me down. I lost my Greenwich spinach. I didn't even care. I ran for home, believe me, I had really had a scare. Now, bicycles were never made for pale green pants to ride 'em, especially spooky pale green pants with nobody inside 'em. And the next night, I was fishing for doubt trout on Rover River when those pants came rowing toward me. Well, I started in to shiver, and by now I was so frightened that I'll tell you, but I hate to. I screamed and rode away and lost my hook and line and bait too. I ran and found a brickle bush. I hid myself away. I got brickles in my britches, but I stayed there anyway. I stayed all night, the next night too. I'd be there still, no doubt, but I had to do an errand. So the next night I went out. I had to do an errand, had to pick a peck of snide in a dark and gloomy snide field that was almost 9 miles wide. I said, I do not fear those pants with nobody inside them. I said and said and said those words. I said them, but I lied them. Then I reached inside a snide bush, and the next thing that I knew, I felt my hand touch someone, and I'll bet that you know who. And there I was, caught in the snide, And in that dreadful place, those spooky empty pants and I were standing face to face. I yelled for help. I screamed. I shrieked. I howled. I yowled. I cried. Oh, save me from these pale green pants with nobody inside. But then a strange thing happened. Why, those pants began to cry. Those pants began to tremble. They were just as scared as I. I never heard such whimpering, and I began to see that I was just as strange to them as they were strange to me. Interesting. I put my arm around their waist and sat right down beside them. I called them down, poor empty pants with nobody inside them. And now we meet quite often, those empty pants and I, and we never shake or tremble. We both smile and we say hi. The end. So let's talk a little bit about this story. What was our main character's name? Trick question. We never heard a name. But we did have a main character. Let's name our character. What should we name our character? Yellow? That's a great name. I think that's perfect. We'll call our character Yellow. That will just make it easier to talk about the story. Are there any other characters in the story we should be thinking about? Right. Pants. Our pale green pants, huh? So Yellow and pale green pants are running into each other all around town. And Yellow's terrified of these pants because it seems very strange that nobody's inside them. Where does the story start out? It starts out with Yellow walking in the night. You see some trees here. We're getting a little help from our illustrations. Looks like Yellow is walking in the woods, maybe. That would be our setting, the woods at night. The setting, if you remember, is where a set of events take place in a story, what the surroundings are like. So wait a minute, part of our story takes place in the woods at night, and part of our story takes place in town. Part of our story takes place down by the river, in a field with prickle bushes, in a snide field. So our setting is spread out over several places. What about the order of events in our story? Sequence. We start out with Yellow taking a walk, and then Yellow sees these pants, which really cause a fright. And that happens again and again and again. Sequence. Until Yellow is so frightened that it makes Pants start to cry. Sequence. And then Yellow realizes that Pants have feelings too. That our character Pants also feels afraid. And that neither one of them really need to be afraid. That they can be friends. And that's the end of our story. And that's our sequence. Yellow's walking at night and sees Pants, which frighten her. It keeps happening. She frightens Pants, and then they learn that they can be friends. And that's our sequence. The order of events in the story, or the order in which things happen. This has been Dr. Seuss. What was I scared of?